More Americans say they are planning to spend 2018 traveling. A recent survey found international travel bookings jumped 44% in the coming months.
And that's despite the fact that more Americans are frustrated by air travel. An estimated 32 million plane trips were avoided last year due to factors like rising fees, flight changes, crowds, and long lines.
And joining us now is CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg. He's breaking down the travel trends of 2018. Now, Peter, tell us what airlines are going to be doing in the coming year to get more people on board.
Well, it's which airlines are going to be doing it, because we're seeing the boom in ultra long haul discount carriers flying overseas routes to the United States, to cities like Hartford and Providence, Fort Lauderdale, and on the West Coast, many other cities that are necessarily not well served by the other carriers, and in the process, a lot of extra seats, and the translation is lower fares. For example, Norwegian Air now flies to 14 different U.S. cities on brand new 787 Dreamliners. They're going to add 3 more routes this year to Madrid and to Milan and to Amsterdam. And you're seeing fares of, let's say, Hartford to Dublin for $65 and Los Angeles to London for about $175. That will continue this year for another reason. So many foreign travelers are not coming to the U.S. this year as a result of the strong U.S. dollar or the residual effects of Brexit, or the perception after Trump's executive orders that the United States is not as welcoming or open, which means a lot of empty seats that would have been their return seats home become our onboard or outboard seats going over. So the law of supply and demand kicks in. It's going to be a buyer's market this year for travel.
So, Peter, you're saying we can expect to see a big decrease in airfares, but what about all those other sneaky fees that really annoy passengers? Will those go away or increase to make up for the fares?
Welcome to the home of the brave and the land of the fee. We're sitting here watching those fees doing nothing but going up, and they're not necessarily being fully disclosed. The Department of Transportation recently reversed a rule that required the airlines to let you know exactly what you'd be paying on the first page of their website. You're going to have to find them, and they may be on page 3 or 4 of the website. And I'll ask a rhetorical question: whoever goes to page 3 or 4, well, you better start going there, because the airlines are making more money from those ancillary fees than they're actually making in terms of profit operating as airlines. To give you an example, ticket change fees have been about $200, but on some international routes now, ticket change fees can be as high as $750 just to change your ticket.
Whoa.
And of course, getting there is half the battle, Peter. Of course, when you get there, you got to find a place to stay. So let's talk about hotels. They were doing pretty well this year. Is that going to be the case for 2018?
Well, it depends on what pretty well means, because right now there's been an explosion in hotel new openings. Marriott, since the acquisition of Starwood, and this is not a mistake or a typo, they're opening 1 new hotel every 14 hours.
Wow.
Now, Airbnb is also exploding. They're now controlling about 7% of the room supply globally. And where they're competing is not in the number of rooms, they're competing in the areas of experience. What can the hotels enable you to do to have an authentic, genuine experience because you're staying at the hotel, but not necessarily at the hotel? And the same thing for Airbnb. So look for that battleground. And once again, with all that excess capacity, lower fares.
All right, we've covered airfare, we've covered hotels. We can't forget about cruises when we talk about travel. Do you expect cruise vacations to be in high demand in 2018?
High demand, but still a buyer's market, because as I'm talking to you now, there's not a shipyard in the world that's not operating at 100% capacity, building all these new mega ships. In 2018 alone, there'll be 16 new ships coming online, about 20 next year in 2020, and onward and onward. So there's going to be excess capacity. They've got to fill those berths in an industry that, if you do the real numbers, is still essentially in its infancy. So excess capacity, demand will not intersect it as much. It'll still be a buyer's market.
A buyer's market. All right, let's start planning those 2018 trips now,
Absolutely.
Omar. All right, Peter Greenberg, thank you for that.
You got it.